Welcome to the 2023 Town of Paxton Citizens Caucus. A quorum of at least 25 registered voters is present and the caucus is now called to order. Please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's still some seats in the front if anyone's looking. If anyone could take this time to silence their cell phones. We're gathered this evening to nominate candidates whose names will be placed on the ballot for the May 2023 local election. For each open position, the 2 people receiving the highest number of votes cast for the nomination of candidates for an office shall be declared nominated for said office. If there are 2 seats open for the same position, then the 4 people receiving the highest number of votes cast shall be declared nominated for said office. A person must receive a minimum of 8% of the vote to have his or her name printed on the ballot. At the end of the caucus, all caucus nominees must come to sign the caucus nomination form accepting the nomination in order for their name to appear on the ballot. Your name will appear on the ballot as you are registered to vote currently. If you wish to add or remove a middle name, or if your name is Robert and you prefer to have your name go on the ballot as Bobby, please see me after the caucus to learn how to change your voter registration. I would like all potential candidates to be aware there have been recent changes to campaign finance laws. There is a new report that must be filed by all candidates on the ballot at the start of the election season. This is the M101 Statement of Organization, and this report must be filed whether or not you plan to have a committee. The second change is that those candidates who have not raised or spent any money campaigning and have no plans to do so, there's a new form called the M109. Those filling out the M109 will only need to file 1 time as opposed to the traditional 3 filings per year. Tonight's caucus is being filmed by the Cable Committee for WPAX TV. We ask that candidates who wish to speak tonight please come to the microphone so that our at-home viewers will be able to hear them properly. I will now accept nominations for a chairman for the caucus.
I'd like to nominate Christina Cormier.
Christina Cormier has been nominated. Does anyone second this nomination? The motion has been made and seconded. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor of Christina Cormier as chairman for the caucus, please signify by raising your card. All opposed, same sign. Christina, you can come forward. I will now accept nominations for the secretary to the caucus.
Lori Baker.
I'll second.
So Lori cannot be, unfortunately, she is not a resident of Paxton.
I'd like to nominate Pat Wheeler.
Pat Wheeler, we have a nomination for Pat Wheeler.
I second.
Second nomination. All those in favor of Pat Wheeler as secretary of the caucus, please signify by raising your card. All those opposed. I will now, Pat Wheeler. Is now the caucus secretary. We will now do the vote for the select board nomination. Do I have any nominations for the candidate for 3
three-year term for the select board. Bill Trotter, have one nomination for Bill Trotter. Any other nominations?
I'll nominate the Yule.
Oh, Kirk Holtz. Okay, I have a nomination for Kirk Holtz. Any, second nomination for William Trotter, please signify by raising your card. Okay, so, William Trotter. Oh, would you like to come up and speak on why you would like the nomination? We're gonna go to this one right there. William, we're gonna use this one. Yeah.
That was just to get attention.
That's the test. Right?
Okay, thank you. Hello? Okay. Okay, folks, very proud to be here tonight. My name is Bill Trotter. I live on 12 Sumi Street. I've lived in town for 22 years. Raised my two children here. They went to the school, high school. My wife's name is Wendy. When I first came to the town, I got onto the Recreation Committee. And after that, I ran for selectman and was elected and served my term. And at that time, there were many things that were coming down that were very important. So I do have experience. The first thing we did is we built that senior housing over there. The other thing that I worked on diligently was stopping the expansion of the 150 unit project down on Pleasant Street, which would have devastated our school system and might have forced us to have another school. As a result of that, we did raise money, put it towards the city of Worcester. They purchased that land, and now it's an aquifer, and it's also a reservation. Those were a couple of the problems we had then. Then a problem arose with Moore State Park. They wanted to take the help out of there. Well, 7,000 people a year go there. So myself and Fred Goodrich went to Boston and argued that they maintain those people. All of this is in here, but the fact is, we preserve Moore State Park. I should put my glasses on now. I hate to go through this whole resume, but I want to hit all the high spots. So anyway. Now another situation arose, and Carol will remember this. They were going to paint the white building. They wanted $40,000. A low $40,000 to paint the white building. The state was going to kick in $20,000. The only thing, there was this little stipulation that said they wanted somewhat control. We fought against that, and in the long run, Carol found a painter that did it for $14,000. All of these things that I was involved in, the most important thing to remember is I quizzled every one of these people to get to their motive. The senior center, they were keeping it secret. It's actually subsidized housing. We had to draw that out of them. The project down there, he came in with a song and dance. He had no intention of ever building that project down there. He just wanted the money because he already had made a pre-arrangement. So when I was a selectman, and everything I've done in my career, as you can read, I've always questioned, got to the nitty-gritty, got to the bottom, never rushed into making a rash decision because it sounds good. So we have other situations in this town, and in 22 years, here's what I'd like to see. More fiscal responsibility to try to stabilize the property taxes and lower them if possible. We know that's a tough thing because we don't have industry here, but there's creative ways we can do things. And one of the most important things I believe in is grant writing, because I did a lot of grant writing after 9/11 for the city of Worcester, bringing in millions of dollars. Also, as emergency manager and Homeland Security coordinator, I was involved in a lot of exercises. So guess what happened? The school wants a new alarm system. The Little League wants lights. If you creatively write a grant, because Charlie Baker has released millions of dollars for grants for schools, especially for the active shooter, you can incorporate our alarm system, and we'd incorporate those lights because part of a response may require 1 day, 2 days, you have to have lights, staging areas, and of course, the alarm system is imperative. So if you creatively write grants, but there are grants for other things, and we have to get down and we have to dig down, see, save as much money as we can. The other thing is the select board, I believe, should be reviewing all of the spending that goes on in this town on a monthly basis to see if there's any waste being involved, if we're really getting our money's worth. And we should also work along with the finance committee to make that happen. I want more accountability from department heads. If someone smashes up a truck, I want to find out what you did about it. Was there any discipline? Was it an accident? Whatever. What are you doing? Are the trucks riding around doing nothing? We got potholes here. A lot of things are overlooked. We need accountability. Resolve the issue with a constant leaking patch on West Street. Anybody that's been here, for me, for the past 22 years, West Street has been what? One big broken pipe after another. As you notice this winter, and the people that live up in my neighborhood had to ride over icy patches to get home during a storm. Something has to be done about that. Now they came out here and they marked the road off. Well, the marks are gone now. Did they forget about this? I'm going to look into it. It's not going to happen. Now, I live on Sumi Street. If you ever drove down Sumi Street, you know it's a crossover with just about everything. Well, before it was a bumpy road, that helped. They paved it, a beautiful paved job. Now it's a drag strip. They had come before, my fellow residents had come before the council. They wanted speed bumps. They said, we don't want to set a precedent. You're not setting a precedent. If there's a need, you react to that need in that area. It's not a precedent. If someone else comes and it doesn't meet the criteria, you're not going to get it. We have to have speed bumps. Not only that, we need weight limits on some of these streets. Tractor trailers running down there. Tractor trailers, some have hazardous materials on them. I'm going to touch that too. The other thing is this. Yearly tabletop exercises consisting of Paxton departments and outside agencies with regard to any possible hazardous situation. Well, we all know that 122 is a major state highway. Every single type of truck goes over that highway. We saw what happened down in Palestine. They weren't prepared. We have to be prepared. And when I was in emergency management, believe it or not, FEMA has all of these training courses for police, fire, DPW, for how to respond to an incident, how to plan. The most important thing is exercising. The simplest exercise is called the tabletop exercise. We take a topic, we sit around, we try to resolve it. We add that into our plan book. So when, shall we say, do you know what hits the fan? We know what we're doing, who we're doing it with, how we're going to deal with it. If we have a tractor trailer, with chemicals overturns in this town, right now, we're going to be on TV and we'll all be out of our houses. We have to plan for that, and we have to plan to protect this school. Remember the ice storm? I'm going to tell you a funny story about the ice storm. I happened to be on vacation. We got hit by the ice storm. I went down to the old police station. I walked in. Chief of police was there, fire chief, the selectman. I walked in. What's the first thing you think I said? Who's in charge? What do you think happened? They looked at each other like, I don't know. And Fred Goodrich, who's the head selectman, he goes, I guess I am. We can't have that in this modern era. We have to be prepared. Like I talked about, more grant writing, and also the alarm system. So if I'm a selectman, I'm not only going to look into these issues, but any issue that comes before the select board, I'm certainly sure I'm going to give it 100% consideration. I will dig into it, see what it's going to cost us, see if it's valid, and see if someone's trying to pull out wool over eyes. Other than that, I served before. I'd love to serve again. And we have a new administrator. Maybe we can get a new direction. And maybe we can get some infrastructure into this town to help us with the taxes. On that note, I wish you'd all vote for me, and thank you for your time.
Would you like to give a brief summary of why you would like to be reelected?
Sure. Well, that was very informative. As most of you know, I'm better behind a microphone if I have a guitar in front of me. However, can you hear me? As most of you know, I'm better in front of a microphone with a guitar in front of me. However, I'm not an elegant public speaker or whatnot. But I did hear what Mr. Trotta's concerns were. But having been on the board for 2 3/4 years, I can tell you that a lot of that stuff is discussed in the background. I have a lot of faith, all the faith in the world, in our fire department, in our police department, in our EMS. 1/2 of my term was served during COVID, which nothing could happen unless it was on Zoom. And there's a huge ramp up period. All right. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that most people don't know about. And it's not that we're trying to keep anything from anyone. One of my biggest mantras is transparency. Honestly, that's one of the things that we're working so hard toward with every single department head, with the new town administrator, everybody reporting transparency and reporting their finances in the same format, so we're not recreating the wheel. We have so many legacy line items in every different department's budget that it's mind-blowing. And when you ask the department head, what's that for? Well, it was in there from when I took over, so I just left it in there. There's a lot of digging. There's a lot of really grungy work going on with the select board right now. And it's exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. The cable committee, we're now having meetings at the safety complex. That's a long time in the process, okay? Nothing changes quickly, especially in this town, okay? Seriously. All laughs. Yep. But we're going through our zoning bylaws. We have an economic development committee to try to figure out how we can attract people and businesses to our town, right? We don't want to be a drive-through Main Street, but we don't want to change the character of our town. So think about those two things. How do you do that? How do you balance it? How do you make 51% of the people happy at the same time? It's not an easy process. It's something that we have to just grungily work our way through, okay? Do I want lower taxes in town? Yeah. Anybody else? Can I get an amen? Honestly, seriously, we're in the top 5 in all the state. But we also expect all the services that come with that, right? So we have to support police. We have to support fire. We have to support the DPW. The conservation, all the committees, right? Everybody has their wish list. And the wonderful part of being a selectman is that you get to make the best of the worst 3 decisions you could ever ask for and try to do the best thing you can for the most of the people in town. And that's the honest freaking truth. And you can do that for $1,600 a year. You can sign up right back there. There's 25 people here. You can get signatures. Come on, bring it. But honestly, it's been a bit of a ramp to get up to speed. But I think at this point, the board has kind of struck their stride. And we're making some really, really challenging decisions, honestly, going forward. But we're all focused on what can we do for the most people in our community. And it took a year and a half, almost 2 years to get there, but I think we're there now. So I'm not gonna run a lawn sign campaign. I'm not gonna put a Facebook campaign out there. There's nothing dirty about this, other than the work that we have to do on the select board to just try to make sure that we take care of the people of this town so that they can afford to stay there. We have businesses that want to come here. And that's that. So there's your speech.
Are there any more nominations for the select board? Hearing no more nominations, I'm closing the nominations for the 3-year term for the select board. Does anyone have any other additional questions for the nominees? We'll now vote on the candidates. All of those in favor of William Trava as candidate for the select board, please signify by raising your card and holding it. And all those in favor of Hercules, sorry if I butchered your last name, please raise your card and hold it. So both candidates will be, oh, I'm sorry. Can you just clarify?
So for every position that's open, 2 people get on the ballot. So you can vote for 2 if there's only 2 on there, but if there was, let's say, 4 people, you want to pick your 2 favorites.
William. Do I have a nominations for the candidate for a 3-year term for the Board of Assessors?
I'd like to nominate Glenn Sullivan.
Glenn Sullivan.
He's not here this evening, but he has said that he was nominated.
Okay. Does anyone second the nomination for Glenn Sullivan?
Jack Malone.
Second. Jack Malone.
Jack Malone. Okay, and anyone second the nomination for Jack?
No, Jack is
Glenn,
the
Jack
second.
second. Oh, sorry. Okay. Are there any other nominations for the Board of Assessors for your term? Okay. Did Glenn submit anything to be read?
No.
No, okay. Hearing there are no more nominations, I'm closing the nominations for the 3-year term for the Board of Assessors. Does anyone have any questions right now? We'll now vote on the candidates. All those in favor of Glenn Sullivan as candidate for the Board of Assessors for a 3-year term, please signify by raising your card. Glenn Sullivan will be on the ballot. Do I have any nominations for a candidate for a 3-year term for the Board of Health?
I'll nominate Judy Hapstadt.
Judy has that? And a second, okay. Is Judy here?
She is.
Judy, would you like to come up and? Fair enough.
Thank you.
Any other nominations for the Board of Health? Here, there are no more nominations. I've closed the nominations for a 3-year term for Board of Health. Does anyone have any questions for Judy? No? All those in favor of Judy as candidate for the Board of Health, please signify by raising your card. Thank you. Judy, you will be on the I have any nominations for a candidate for a 3-year term for the cemetery commission?
Nominate Gordon Snyder.
Gordon Snyder? Gordon, would you like to come up and say a few words? A second for the nomination? Thank you, sorry. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Gordon Snyder. I live at 176 Suomi Street. I've lived here for over 35 years and have raised my family here. I am now retired and working part-time at Miles Funeral Home. And recently, Brian Frostin and I did over the old records building. I have a deep-hearted love for this town and want to spend some time maybe working on the cemetery commission, beautifying the cemeteries, and do whatever I can to help. I would appreciate any votes I can get. Thank you.
Any other nominations for 3-year term for cemetery commission? Does anyone have any questions for Gordon?
What is he doing?
We'll now vote on the candidates. All those in favor of Gordon Snyder as candidate for cemetery commission, please raise your hand and hold it. Thank you so much, Gordon Snyder. You will be on the ballot. Okay, there are 2 open seats for constable. Do I have any nominations for candidates for a 3-year term as constable? Nominate Betty Warren. Betty Warren? Betty. Okay, a second on Betty Warren? Okay. Betty here?
B-E-N.
Oh, Benny, sorry. Would you like to come up and share a few words on why you like the position?
There's no room in the budget. Sorry.
My name is Pete Warren. I've lived in town for over 50 years, retired from the Paxton Fire Department, and I've been a constable for 29 years and would like to do 1 more term. Thank you.
Do we have any other candidates?
I'd like to nominate Paul Wade.
Paul Ruane? I'll second it. Thank you. And is Paul here? Would you like to come up and say a few words, Paul?
Good evening. I've been in town for a number of years, and I've been on a constable. Got it? Yep. I've been a constable for over 9 years here in town. I'm now retired. I worked for 34 years for the State Department of Correction, running a number of their facilities, and I enjoy serving the town and want to continue doing so. Yeah.
Any other nominations for constable? Does anyone have any questions for either Benny or Paul? We'll now vote on the candidate. All those in favor of Benny Warren Jr. as candidate for constable, please signify by raising your card. Thank you. And all those in favor of Paul Ruane as candidate for constable, please raise your yellow card. Both Paul and Benny will be on the ballot. There are 2 open seats for the Richards Memorial Library Board of Trustees. Do I have any nominations for the Richards Memorial Library Board of Trustees? Sandra Fields, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Sandra, would you like to come up and give us a little? Are there any other nominations for the Library Board of Trustees? I'll nominate Kristen any other nominations? Hearing no more nominations, I close the nominations for the 3-year term for Library Board of Trustees. Does anyone have any questions for either Sandra or Pat? We'll now vote on the candidates. All those in favor of Sandra Fields as candidate for the Library Board of Trustees, please signify by raising your card. Thank you. And all those in favor of Pat Dawson as candidate for Library Board, please signify by raising your card. Both Sandra and Pat will be on the ballot. Do you have any nominations for candidate for 3-year term moderator?
I'll nominate Roger Brunel.
Roger Brunel?
I'll second.
Second. Is Roger here? Would you like to stand up and say some words?
Unaccustomed as I am to speaking in public. Just very briefly, I've been the town moderator since 2014, and that year when I was elected, I wasn't smart enough to come to this meeting, and so I had to walk around and get signatures. And I knocked on the door of one of my neighbors, and I told him, I'm Roger Brunel, I'm running for town moderator, would you sign my papers? And he looks at me and goes, I don't know, what are your positions? And I go, I don't have any positions right now, but if I'm elected, my position will be standing in the front of the meeting and trying to run a fair and efficient meeting. And that's what I've tried to do for the past 9 years, and I would be honored and privileged to be allowed to continue with that role. So thank you very much.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing no more nominations, I'm closing the nominations for the 3-year term for moderator. Does anyone have any questions for Roger? All those in favor as Roger Brunel as candidate for moderator, please signify by raising your card. Thank you so much. Roger, your name will be on the ballot. Do I have any nominations for candidate for a 3-year term for the municipal light board? Nominate Michael Benoit. Anyone second for Michael?
Second.
Okay. Is Michael here? Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing there's no more nominations, I'll close the nominations for the 3-year term for the municipal light board. We will now vote on the candidate. All those in favor of Michael Benoit as candidate for municipal light, please signify. Thank you so much. Michael will make it to the back. Planning board. Do I have any nominations for candidate for a 5-year term for the planning board? You're sure? Absolutely.
Good evening. At the present time on the planning board, we have an opening that will be filled come this election cycle. But as the chair of the board at this point, we were looking for candidates that don't tend to live on the far end or the Rutland end of town, because 3 of our present members all live down that way. So we're trying to kind of spread out some of the issues. So I kind of started beating the drums a little bit and started looking for people that may have had past service to the town and might have an interest in serving on the planning board. So Peter's name was suggested to me, and I reached out to him, and he is interested. Presently, he is serving on the Bay Pat School Committee, which is the meeting he's at this evening. I couldn't attend, but he's lived in town for 30 plus years. I think he told me 34 or 5 years. He's a past selectman. He is a past member of the Finance Committee. I think he had served in that for 10 or 12 years. Various other committees. His professional career had him involved with the State Labor Department in terms of service to the state and communities and this and that. So I think overall he'd be really great addition to the board, and I would hope that we could all support his nomination for the position. So thank you very much.
Are there any more nominations for the planning board?
Can I ask a question? Both Peter and will be elected to another elected position. Can you allow 2 elected positions? You can. Okay. Peter's he serves with me on the Bay Pass, so I know Peter very well, and he'll do a good job.
Okay, we'll now vote on the candidate. All those in favor of Peter Shore as candidate for the planning board, please signify by raising your card. Okay, Peter received the right amount of votes. He will be on the ballot. There are 2 open seats for the Recreation Commission. Do I have any nominations for a candidate for a 3-year term for the Recreation Commission?
I nominate Diane Moore.
Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Diane, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Hello, my name is Diane. I've been on recreation for 2 years now. I've lived in town for about 22 years. I originally volunteered because I wanted to do something to give back to the community that has given so much to my family, and I've really enjoyed the experience, and I'm looking forward hopefully to doing more with recreation so that we can have opportunities for everyone in the community to engage in recreation and to be part of this great community. Thank you.
Are there any more nominations? Okay, I have a nomination for Cormier. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jeff, would you like to come up?
Hi, my name is Jeff Cormier. I'm currently serving as the chair of the Recreation Commission. I'm the newbie, I guess, because I've only been in town for 6 years. I know, huh? But I can tell you immediately when I moved into town, looking to do something to improve the town was one of the first things that I did, which is why I joined the Recreation Commission. Since I've come on board, we've done a lot of good things for the community, like bringing in food trucks for the tree lighting, doing the truck lighting competition between the town departments. We sponsored Boy Scout Eagle projects. We installed a really cool basketball surface up over by the center fields, and we also the before and after school program. And right now we're looking to help out Paxton Little League by installing a well to take that burden of over $7,000 a year of water costs off of their hands. So I appreciate the support the community has given me so far. I'd ask for your vote again. Thank you.
Are there any more nominations? Hearing no more nominations, I'm closing the nominations for the 3-year term for the Recreation Commission. Does anyone have any questions for either Diane or Jeff? We'll now vote on the candidates. All those in favor of Diane McMorrow as a candidate for the Recreation Commission, please signify by raising your card. Thank you. All those in favor of Jeff Cormier as candidate for the Recreation Commission, please raise your card. Thank you. Well, Diane and Jeff, you received the correct amount of votes, you will be on the ballot. For simplicity, we will refer to the Southern Worcester County Regional Vocational School District Committee as Bay Path School Committee. Do I have any nominations for candidate for the 3-year term for the Bay Path School Committee?
I'll second.
Second, okay. Bob, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Just a few. I'm shy. I'm shy.
Well,
First of all, I have served for 18 years on the Bay Path School Committee, and it's been day one. It's been a pleasure. And I'll be there tonight voting on the budget, but I'm here to represent the people of Paxton. And Bay Path has come a long way since I went on. Fred Goodrich was mentioned tonight by Bill. He nominated me when we joined the regional school committee along with Spencer and North Brookfield, and I've been on ever since. I'm past chair. I served 2 years as chairman of the school committee. I serve on many school committee subcommittees, including right now I'm on the building and grounds committee, and we're looking into some of our 3 of our shops need some work. I worked with the English department with youth speech. In fact, we had a young lady last year from Bay Path, vocational student, win the whole state competition in youth speech. And that's a major point. Huh? Supposed to mine? Okay. I'm just going to, I told you. I also was the vice chair of the Vote for Paxton, Yes for Paxton program. That was the program that we raised the money to do the big renovation that we did a few years back. I was the vice chair of that committee and helped raise the money and also to get the towns, all 10 towns to vote yes. And as far as the kids, the students, we presently have 35 Paxton kids attending Bay Path, which is a major accomplishment. Vocational education is very, very important to all of us. We don't need any more lawyers. I'm sorry. I agree. You want more money, that's why. But we don't need more lawyers. We don't need more doctors. We need plumbers. We need electricians. And that's what vocational education does for us. And some of these kids who are on co-op in their junior year are making more money than the teachers are. And as far as fiscal responsibility, Bay Path has had an image of staying within our means. And again tonight, they're voting on the budget, and I can assure you it's minimum contribution. We're not asking for a dime more. It's, again, I've been assured it's minimum contribution again. So I want your vote. I want to continue for 3 more years. I want to do 21 years, and then I'm done. Thank you.
Are there any more nominations? Hearing no more nominations, I'm closing the nominations for the 3-year term for the Bay Path School Committee. Does anyone have any additional questions for Bob? We'll now vote on the candidate. All those in favor of Bob Wilby as his candidate for Bay Path School Committee, please signify by raising your card. Good, thank you. Bob, you received the required 8% vote. Do I have any nominations for a candidate for a 3-year term for the tree board? No nominations? Okay. No nominations. We'll move on to the, do I have any nominations for a candidate for the 3-year term for the Wachusett Regional School District School Committee? No nominations?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second for Carl?
Second.
Okay. Carl is not here, right?
Yeah, he's serving right now.
Oh, yes. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing no more nominations, I'm closing the nominations for the 3-year term for the Worcester Regional School Committee District. Committee will now vote on the candidates. All of those in favor of Carl Othmar, please signify by raising your card.
Carl with K.
Okay, Carl received the required vote.
Carl could not be here this evening, but he did ask that I say a few words on his behalf. And he wrote, "Good evening, I apologize for not being able to attend in person as I am currently at a school committee meeting and I have yet to figure out how to meet two places at once. I have had the privilege of serving on the school committee as a representative from Paxton for the past 4 years, and if it would be the will of the people of Paxton, I would be honored to continue to serve. I have done my best to try and make informed decisions to move the district forward while keeping in mind the fact that Paxton is unique and at times finds itself in different circumstances compared to the other towns. I have been an advocate for our children, Paxton Center School, and our town, and will continue to do so if re-elected. I thank you all for taking time out of your schedule tonight to attend the caucus in support of our town. Signed, Carl Bachman.
Do I have any nominations for a candidate for a 3-year term for the water? Oh, I'm sorry.
Move the mic. Move the mic.
I think we did right at that. Yeah.
Carl's in, we're good.
Okay, do I have any nominations for a candidate for a 3-year term for the water board?
I'll nominate John Mullo.
Second.
John Malone, sorry. And I get a second? Is John here? Oh. Would you like to stand up and say a few words? Not today? Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing no more nominations, I'm closing the nominations for the 3-year term for the water board. Does anyone have any questions for John? We'll now vote on the candidate. All those in favor of John as candidate for the water board, please signify by raising your card. So much. John, you have received the recommended, required. At the conclusion of the nomination process, just a reminder that you guys need to stop and sign the Town Caucus certificate of nomination before you leave. Secretary will have the document. I will accept the motion to adjourn the 2023 Paxton Citizens Caucus. Is there second? Second. Motion has been made and seconded to close the caucus. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Have a good night.